Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today's video dives into another story from the world of celebrities and popular culture. Before we begin, please consider showing your support by liking this video. It truly means a lot to us. Thank you, and let's begin. Number 9. Amanda Bynes. Amanda Bynes' rise to fame was almost storybook perfect. Born in 1986 in California, she began acting at an early age and quickly became one of Hollywood's brightest young stars. By her teens, she was everywhere, on Nickelodeon shows, in movies, and on magazine covers. Her comedic timing, charming personality, and ability to connect with audiences made her not just popular, but unforgettable. She wasn't just another child star, she was the face of a generation. Teens across America grew up watching her on All That, The Amanda Show, and films like What a Girl Wants and She's the Man. Success, however, can be as fragile as it is fast. Behind the scenes, pressures began to mount. Constant public scrutiny, relentless work schedules, and the expectations placed on a young performer can be crushing. While fans saw a confident, funny, and talented actress, the reality was that the weight of fame was taking its toll. Roles began to become fewer and more sporadic. Her public appearances became unpredictable, and interviews that once showcased her humor increasingly revealed signs of strain. By the late 2000s, the bright, unstoppable young star had started to fade from Hollywood's spotlight. The reasons were complex. Personal struggles, including mental health challenges, began to affect her professional life. Amanda had always been candid about wanting to live life on her own terms, but the pressure of fame left little room for that. What followed was a series of concerning public incidents that drew headlines, but not the kind of headlines associated with success. Instead of award shows and premieres, the public became aware of legal troubles and erratic behavior. Financially, the impact was significant. Amanda's early success had brought substantial earnings, but years without steady work, combined with the cost of her legal and personal care, began to erode her wealth. Lavish spending, coupled with conservatorship arrangements, meant that the money she had earned was no longer fully under her control. At one point, she had to rely on her family for support, a humbling reversal for someone who had once been at the top of her game. Perhaps the most remarkable part of Amanda Bynes' story is how quietly it all happened. There was no explosive scandal, no public downfall that dominated headlines for months. Instead, it was a slow disappearance, one that left fans wondering where she had gone. She stepped back from Hollywood and the limelight, seeking stability and privacy. Today, she lives largely out of public view, focusing on her health and pursuing a quieter life away from the glare of cameras. Amanda's journey serves as a reminder that fame is never permanent, and even those who seem untouchable can struggle behind closed doors. Her story isn't one of dramatic failure, but of a quiet retreat, a cautionary tale of how the pressures of Hollywood can take a toll, even on the brightest stars. Her legacy, though muted now, remains in the laughter she brought to an entire generation of young viewers, proving that sometimes the most impactful careers aren't measured by wealth or longevity, but the joy left behind. Number 8. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan's rise to fame seemed almost inevitable. Born in 1986 in New York, she began modeling as a child and soon transitioned to acting. By the late 1990s, she was already capturing attention for her talent, charm, and on-screen presence. But it was in the early 2000s that she became a true household name. Films like The Parent Trap, Freaky Friday, and Mean Girls didn't just showcase her acting ability, they cemented her as one of Hollywood's most bankable young stars. At her peak, her name alone could guarantee box office success, and endorsements and magazine covers followed in droves. Yet the intensity of fame arrived faster than she could handle. Lohan was thrust into a world of adult expectations while still very young. The pressures of navigating Hollywood, combined with relentless media scrutiny, created a fragile foundation for her career. By her late teens, personal struggles became public. Paparazzi followed her every move, and tabloids chronicled even minor missteps as major scandals. Missed sets, canceled appearances, and increasingly erratic behavior were reported widely, overshadowing her professional accomplishments. Financially, the consequences were equally significant. Lohan earned millions through films, endorsements, and modeling contracts, but her lifestyle and legal troubles began to chip away at her fortune. Court appearances, settlements, and periods of rehab added to the financial strain. As opportunities in Hollywood dried up, income streams slowed. Roles that might have sustained her career went to other actors, and studios became hesitant to take risks on someone perceived as unpredictable. Even her attempts to return through independent projects or reality TV faced obstacles, as momentum in Hollywood can be fleeting. The personal toll was profound. Lindsay Lohan went through cycles of recovery and relapse, navigating both mental health challenges and substance-related issues under the constant gaze of the public. The combination of fame, personal difficulties, and the unforgiving nature of the entertainment industry created a perfect storm, leaving her career and financial security far from the heights she once enjoyed. By the mid-2010s, Lindsay's presence in mainstream Hollywood had dwindled. She was no longer the headline-grabbing star dominating films and magazines. Instead, she appeared sporadically, taking on smaller projects or international work, attempting to rebuild a career interrupted by years of turbulence. While she remains recognized and occasionally celebrated, the empire she once stood on, one of the most visible in Hollywood for a young star, is gone. Lindsay's story is a cautionary tale of fame's fragility. It illustrates how quickly Hollywood can move on and how early success can become both a blessing and a burden. Her disappearance from the spotlight wasn't sudden or explosive. It was quiet, gradual, and almost imperceptible to the outside world. Today, she lives largely out of public view, focusing on her health and pursuing a quieter life away from the glare of cameras. The fame, money, and power she once wielded faded, but her story remains a vivid reminder of how impermanent stardom can be.
7. Nicolas Cage. Few actors in Hollywood have reached the dizzying heights that Nicolas Cage achieved. Born in 1964 into the Coppola family, acting seemed almost destined for him. But he quickly carved his own path, choosing bold and eclectic roles that showcased his range. From Raising Arizona to Leaving Las Vegas, which earned him an Academy Award, Cage became known for his intense performances and unique charisma. By the 1990s and early 2000s, he was one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, commanding massive salaries and starring in blockbuster franchises like National Treasure. But with great success came great spending. Cage's financial life was as dramatic as his on-screen roles. Over the years, he purchased multiple homes, some famously extravagant, including a French chateau, a private island in the Bahamas, and several Los Angeles mansions. He collected rare and priceless items, dinosaur skulls, shrunken heads, and historic artifacts. Cars, motorcycles, and luxury boats flowed into his life without hesitation. Income seemed endless, and Cage treated his wealth as boundless. However, reality eventually caught up. Poor financial planning, unpaid taxes, and extravagant spending led to mounting debt. The IRS demanded millions in back taxes, forcing him to sell homes and valuable collections. Once selective about roles, he began accepting nearly anything offered, not out of passion, but out of necessity. Films that might have otherwise gone unnoticed became crucial for paying off obligations. His reputation as a quirky, talented actor remained, but his financial empire quietly crumbled behind the scenes. Yet, despite the chaos, Cage continued working steadily. His career never fully collapsed. He remains an active actor, but the contrast between his financial peak and the reality of his situation is striking. Once celebrated for the breadth of his talent and his box office pool, he became a cautionary tale of excess and the importance of financial prudence. Cage's story shows that fame alone cannot protect wealth. Even the most talented and adored actors can lose everything if spending spirals unchecked. The public rarely saw this fall in full. Unlike some celebrity downfalls, there were no tabloid scandals or personal controversies overshadowing the narrative. It was quietly financial, a lesson in how even legendary success cannot shield one from the consequences of unchecked lifestyle choices. Nicolas Cage's life remains a testament to the unpredictable nature of Hollywood fortunes. Fame may endure, but wealth can vanish silently, leaving only stories of what once was. Number 6. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp's story is one of both triumph and turmoil. Born in 1963, Depp became a defining figure in Hollywood, renowned for his transformative performances and unique charisma. Early roles in 21 Jump Street established him as a teen heartthrob, but it was his collaborations with director Tim Burton in films like Edward Scissorhands and Sleepy Hollow that cemented his reputation as one of cinema's most innovative actors. Depp's fame wasn't fleeting. He became a global icon, commanding massive salaries and starring in blockbuster franchises like Pirates of the Caribbean, where he brought Jack Sparrow to life in a performance that would become legendary. But success came with personal and financial pressures. Depp's lifestyle was famously lavish. He purchased multiple properties worldwide, from Los Angeles mansions to private islands, and filled them with art, antiques, and luxury items. Private jets, yachts, and extensive security staff further inflated expenses. While his earnings were extraordinary, his spending often outpaced them, creating an underlying financial vulnerability. The real collapse, however, was as much professional and personal as it was financial. Highly public legal battles with former business managers and ex-spouses drew massive media attention, exposing private struggles to the world. Contract disputes, lawsuits, and severed studio relationships meant lucrative roles disappeared almost overnight. Legal costs alone drained millions of dollars. Even after winning high-profile cases, the damage to his career and reputation had lasting consequences. The loss was quiet, yet profound. Depp's once unstoppable Hollywood presence became erratic, roles dwindled, and his financial situation required careful rebuilding. Despite the setbacks, he remains active in the industry and retains a loyal fan base. Yet the empire he built over decades, the combination of critical acclaim, global recognition, and substantial wealth, was dramatically reshaped. His story underscores how even the most beloved celebrities are vulnerable to the pressures of public scrutiny, personal disputes, and the unpredictable tides of Hollywood. Johnny Depp's journey is a stark reminder that fame alone cannot prevent decline. While audiences continued to adore him, behind the scenes, the dismantling of his career and fortune happened quietly, hidden from the very fans who celebrated him. Johnny Depp's story isn't a scandal-driven collapse, it's a cautionary tale about the fragility of wealth and reputation and the silent, often unseen consequences of fame in Hollywood.
Number 5. Wesley Snipes. At the height of his career, Wesley Snipes was one of Hollywood's most bankable action stars. Born in 1962 in Orlando, Florida, Snipes carved a niche for himself in action and martial arts films, bringing both charisma and intensity to every role. Films like Blade, Passenger 57, and Demolition Man made him a household name, and he was considered one of the few black actors of his generation to consistently headline major Hollywood projects. His on-screen persona was synonymous with cool, agility, and toughness, and he commanded salaries that reflected his box office draw. Yet behind the explosive stunts and confident public image, challenges were quietly mounting. Snipes' financial and legal troubles would eventually overshadow his career. A high-profile dispute with the IRS culminated in convictions for tax evasion, resulting in prison time, an almost unprecedented situation for a Hollywood star of his stature. While incarcerated, Snipes was absent from the industry for several years. During that time, Hollywood moved on. Roles that might have sustained his career went to other actors, and his once prominent presence in the industry faded. Financially, the consequences were severe. Income streams from ongoing projects and endorsements dried up. Legal fees and the costs associated with his defense drained savings.
properties and assets had to be liquidated, and the lavish lifestyle that had accompanied his career was no longer sustainable. The wealth he had built quietly slipped away, leaving him to rebuild his life from scratch once he was released. Snipes' return to acting has been steady but subdued. He now takes on smaller roles in independent projects, far from the blockbuster glory days of the late 1990s and early 2000s. His story is a lesson in how off-screen choices, especially legal and financial decisions, can quietly dismantle even the most successful careers. Wesley Snipes' fall wasn't a tabloid spectacle. It was a quiet, final reckoning, illustrating that fame and talent alone cannot protect against life-altering consequences. Number 4. Katy Perry. Few pop stars have enjoyed the meteoric rise that Katy Perry experienced. Born in 1984 in Santa Barbara, California, she initially pursued gospel music before pivoting to pop, where her unique voice, catchy hooks, and vibrant persona quickly captured the public's attention. By 2008, with hits like I Kissed a Girl and Hot and Cold, Perry had achieved global superstardom. Stadium tours, #1 singles, and millions of albums sold placed her among the most influential musicians of her generation. She seemed unstoppable. Yet the nature of pop music is fleeting. Trends shift rapidly, and sustaining relevance requires constant adaptation. Over time, Perry faced the challenges of changing public tastes, underperforming albums, and competition from rising stars. While her earnings remained substantial compared to most people, the empire she had built quietly diminished. Massive investments into tours, videos, and brand partnerships didn't always yield the expected returns. The scale of success that once felt limitless became more fragile. Personal and professional pressures also played a role. Constant touring, media scrutiny, and the demand to innovate musically added stress. Strategic decisions about projects, partnerships, and public image directly impacted her ability to maintain dominance in the industry. While she continues to enjoy fame and a healthy income, the unstoppable pop juggernaut of her peak years quietly gave way to a more measured, if less headline-grabbing presence in the music world. Katy Perry's story illustrates the subtle nature of loss in entertainment. Unlike financial collapse or legal trouble, her decline wasn't scandalous, it was quiet, a combination of changing trends, shifting attention, and the natural impermanence of pop stardom. Perry remains a recognized, respected artist, but her story reminds us that even the most powerful empires in music are fragile. Fame is not permanent, and the world's attention can move on almost imperceptibly. Number 3. MC Hammer. Few celebrity falls are as dramatic as MC Hammer. Born Stanley Kirk Burrell in 1962, he became one of the most recognizable figures in music during the late 1980s and early 1990s. His unique blend of rap, dance, and flashy costumes made him a global sensation. Hits like You Can't Touch This weren't just songs, they were cultural phenomena. Concerts were massive, merchandise sales skyrocketed, and endorsements poured in. Money seemed limitless, and the lifestyle that accompanied it was equally extravagant. His rise, however, masked underlying vulnerabilities. He managed a large entourage, employed hundreds of staff, and maintained lavish homes, private jets, and luxury cars. Spending far outpaced income, and the sudden change in music trends hit him hard. The rap and pop markets evolved rapidly, and the demand for his style of music dropped almost overnight. While obligations remained, the inflow of cash slowed dramatically. Bankruptcy followed. Within a short few years, MC Hammer went from unimaginable wealth to financial instability. The transition was quiet in the public eye, overshadowed by the earlier spectacle of success. Legal battles over contracts, unpaid bills, and financial obligations added further strain. The empire he had built, once fueled by a combination of talent, business acumen, and cultural influence, crumbled under the weight of overspending and market shifts. Despite the financial collapse, MC Hammer remained culturally relevant to some extent. He reinvented himself through reality TV appearances, motivational speaking, and occasional music projects. Yet the life he once lived, private jets, massive homes, and worldwide tours, was gone. His story serves as one of the clearest examples of excess leading to quiet ruin. Fame and popularity can provide an illusion of permanence, but MC Hammer's experience proves that even the most celebrated stars can lose everything almost silently.
Number 2. Britney Spears. Britney Spears wasn't just a pop star. She was an icon of a generation. Born in 1981 in Mississippi, she began performing as a child, appearing on the Mickey Mouse Club alongside other future stars. By the late 1990s, she exploded onto the music scene with her debut single, Baby One More Time, a track that instantly became a global sensation. Teenagers and adults alike were captivated by her catchy tunes, charismatic performances, and polished image. At the height of her fame, Spears wasn't just selling records, she was shaping pop culture. Yet the pressures of fame proved immense. Constant scrutiny, relentless touring schedules, and the invasive attention of paparazzi created a world in which privacy and personal boundaries no longer existed. The media chronicled every misstep, and even minor personal struggles were amplified into headlines. As the years passed, the relentless pressure began to take its toll, both mentally and emotionally. Spears' public struggles were highly visible. Erratic behavior, highly publicized breakdowns, and periods of withdrawal from the spotlight highlighted the immense challenges she faced behind the glamorous facade. Financially, the consequences were equally significant. Spears had earned millions, but for years much of it was controlled by others through a conservatorship established in 2008. Legal battles, court interventions, and management disputes limited her access to her own wealth, making it impossible for her to fully benefit from the fortune she had built. Investments, endorsements, and touring revenue were all influenced or overseen by those legally managing her life. The empire she had created slowly lost autonomy, and with it, much of her control over career and personal decisions. Even after she regained freedom in 2021, the years of lost autonomy left a mark. Spears had to navigate the world and rebuild her life on her own terms. While she retains fame and still has access to her earnings, the life she once envisioned, one in which she could freely enjoy her success, was irreversibly altered. Her story serves as a powerful reminder that celebrity wealth and success don't guarantee control, happiness, or longevity. Britney Spears' journey shows that loss isn't always about money. It can be about agency, privacy, and the ability to live life on one's own terms. Her quiet struggle behind the scenes contrasts sharply with the vibrant, energetic image that made her famous. It's a testament to how even the biggest stars can lose more than just fortune. They can lose control over the very life they built in the public eye. Number 1. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's fall is perhaps the most astonishing in entertainment history. The king of pop, born in 1958 in Indiana, was an icon long before most modern audiences were born. Beginning as a child star with the Jackson 5, he evolved into a global sensation, redefining music, dance, and popular culture. Albums like Thriller, Bad, and Dangerous broke records and set new standards for the industry. He was a symbol of unmatched talent, charisma, and ambition, a performer who seemed untouchable. But behind the glittering image of success, there were cracks. Like Jackson's lifestyle was extravagant, with multiple homes, private jets, rare art collections, and costly personal projects that drained massive sums of money. Legal battles and allegations further complicated his life, consuming both attention and finances. The king of pop, for all his worldwide fame, faced mounting debts despite earning hundreds of millions over his career.
declining income from album sales and touring, coupled with enormous spending and ongoing legal fees, created a financial crisis that remained largely hidden from the public until the later years of his life. Contracts with record companies, the costs of maintaining his Neverland ranch, and personal luxuries outpaced revenue. Even the global recognition and adoration he enjoyed could not prevent the slow erosion of his fortune. By the end of Jackson's life, his empire had shifted dramatically. While still immensely famous, the financial stability that should have accompanied decades of record-breaking success was gone. Debts outweighed assets, projects were stalled or canceled, and the King of Pop had to rely on external financing to fund his endeavors. The world continued to celebrate his genius, but behind the scenes, a quiet collapse had occurred, one that few fully understood until after his death. Michael Jackson's story is a sobering lesson in the vulnerability of even the greatest talents. Fame and influence cannot fully protect against mismanagement, extravagance, or unforeseen challenges. His fall was not caused by scandal alone, but by the invisible pressures of maintaining an extraordinary lifestyle, personal complications, and the relentless demands of a life spent entirely in the public eye. In the end, Michael Jackson's life reminds us that no level of fame, power, or wealth is permanent. Even those who seem untouchable can quietly lose everything, leaving the world to marvel at the legacy, while the full story of loss remains hidden behind the curtain. His is a cautionary tale of how fame can be both a crown and a burden, and how silence often accompanies the most devastating declines.